All right, we are back. Welcome, everybody. You are once again listening to Inside the Glass with Rob Leon and Rachel Houston on Camp Student Radio. We are now in the final period of the show. We're talking divisional picks. It's really early. Season hasn't even started yet, but we're making
preseason hasn't even started.
Hasn't even started yet, and we're still making predictions. But nonetheless, we'll still power through these, and it will be fun. Anyways, so let's start in the Eastern Conference.
Ooh,
We've got
wonderful East.
Let's take the pain first. Let's start with the Atlantic.
The Atlantic?
Let's start with the Atlantic. All right, so we're gonna pick what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick our top 3 teams. It doesn't have to be in a specific order, or whatever. Just what you think are the top 3 teams that finish in this division.
Okay, fair enough. So Atlantic is obviously Boston, I would say. I mean, I don't think there's any other team that could really rival them. I think Montreal's sort of up there. I think I would take Montreal probably second. But, I mean, they had some additions to, whoever it was from Tampa. Made a big fit a few years ago. Jonathan Drouin.
Right.
Or Drouin. I think he's a really good addition to the team. Don't think it's really going to push them that far. I think Boston is heading into just the prime time. I mean, if Tuca does well and they have good goaltending, because they have really good goaltending in the AHL, they might be Stanley Cup, they might be Cup ready. I think they might be able to go challenge Chicago for a good old reunion in the final. So beyond that, obviously Montreal, and trying to figure out who really could. I'll say Ottawa.
Ottawa, okay.
Because Ottawa had a lot of free agent signings, and granted, I didn't know a lot of them, and I mentioned that in the last show. Who did they sign? They signed a lot of guys, but who did they really sign? I think they just need to find their groove. Maybe they'll get a big trade. Maybe they'll be involved in the Matt Duchene trade. I could go on about Matt Duchene for a million years. So he could be part of that. You could have Landeskog part of that. You could have a bunch of players who are probably going to be moved next season on that roster, because I think they got enough to dispose or trade for them. So I don't see why they can't be in a top. I would specifically say top 3 for them, number 3.
Part of me really wants to put the Maple Leafs in there, especially since their run from last year. But I don't know. I've never been the biggest fan of Mike Babcock. He's done a lot of stuff for when he coached the Red Wings.
But the Red Wings were good.
The Red Wings were good. This Toronto team, it's got a lot of youth. You got Austin Matthews. You got Marner. You got, I don't know why I'm blanking.
William Nylander.
You got Nylander.
Gardner.
Yeah, it's a young, very young team. Some of them, you might not be too happy with or whatever, but they
all of them.
But look, the way I'm looking at it is last year they took the Capitals. They gave them a challenge.
Okay, but it was the Capitals and it was in the playoffs, which is not a notable time for them.
But I
understand what you're saying.
The only time the
still
Capitals choke is
yeah.
when it's against the Penguins.
You're true. You're right. Very, very right.
But so yeah, this that Capitals team was expected to win as they were the year before, and the fact that I think I got taken to 6 games.
It got taken to 7.
It got taken all the way to 7. So that was impressive, very impressive run.
I'm not gonna say that Toronto doesn't have good players or doesn't have good outings, but I just don't think they deserve to be. This is definitely a bias in the Atlantic for me.
A question whether that deserve it, but there's a difference between whether or not they deserve it and whether or not it probably can happen. Which because the NHL is so freaking weird.
It is.
Especially the Atlantic Division. I've never been a fan of the Atlantic Division. I talked about a whole lot of it last year. I pretty much, whenever I did my weekly hot colds, I almost never brought up a team from the Atlantic unless I'm talking about a team that's cold.
Right. Or unless you're talking about Marchand. That's Marchand.
Yeah, or unless I'm talking about early on in the season when the Canadians didn't lose a single game.
Honestly, and then they got whooped by the Blue Jackets.
Exactly.
So.
It was literally the same day I made that. I started giving a lot of praise to the Canadians. That's when they get whipped by the Blue Jackets.
Themselves.
Yeah.
So
But
besides Toronto, who else are you thinking?
I do like Boston. You know, I saw them last year. You know, I think they barely missed it, but like, you know, they faced a lot of ups and downs and throughout that season.
I think it's mainly goaltending.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Tuukka Rask is so good.
Yeah, but now they have a new coaching staff. They had a bit of a retool, not a rebuild, but a bit of a retooling.
Which I think is what they needed.
That's what they needed to do, and I think that this season it's going to show that it worked. And I'm pretty excited to see what they can do.
Wait, they lost Claude Julien though, didn't they?
They lost Claude Julien to Montreal.
And they got Michel Therrien in return, didn't they? They just swapped.
They
That's
swapped,
disgusting.
They swapped goals.
I remember
They
that.
swapped coaches.
That was so gross.
It was the weirdest thing ever. Like what? Like the
Of all
two
teams
the
to
two
do it.
biggest rivalries in all of the NHL. That's where the coaching swap happens.
Yeah, honestly. Okay. So I think that's gonna. I don't like Michel Therrien. Michel Therrien is words I will not say on this radio station. That sort of hurts me now that I think about it, because I completely forgot about that as I made my predictions. Gonna be difficult. I think Boston's not gonna be as great. They're not gonna probably beat out anybody like in the Metro in terms of points, but they're still definitely gonna be number one in Atlantic, I think.
Yeah. Let's bring up the Metro. I mean,
I love the Metro.
That's where literally everything happens.
That
it's
and the
weird.
Pacific is
It's weird
Central's
because
good
the Eastern Conference is so weird because you have the worst division in the league and the best division in the league in the same conference.
And you have like the worst team in the league in the Metro. Or at least the Islanders were the worst team for a while before the Avalanche came out.
But anyways, it's really hard to pick a top three among this Metro because it's just so stacked. Like
it's not difficult for me. It's the Blue Jackets all the way.
Blue Jackets number one. That's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
Question is, do we have Washington getting number two again? They lost a decent amount in this off season, and really, like, I think, you know, age might be catching up to them pretty soon. They're still going to be a solid team, but I don't know if they can pull it off anymore. I could probably see them finishing third.
Okay, and second would probably be Pittsburgh, I assume.
Pittsburgh, maybe. I like to see what the Rangers can do also.
Oh gosh, forgot about the Rangers.
Yeah, because the Rangers are there too.
Forgot they exist.
Yeah, but yeah, I think if I were to give it, I'd probably give number 2 to the Rangers.
Ooh, okay. I think. Oh, they lost Eric Stepan. I can't give the Rangers anything really. I adore the Rangers. I'm a really big fan of Chris Kreider. I love BC Eagles, and he's one. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for that. If people see that, no, I like Chris Kreider, but can't give them anything. So I want to say the Hurricanes. If it wasn't for the Capitals and the Penguins, I feel like they have to take up 2 and 3. Whichever it is gonna go back and forth. Whatever, it doesn't really matter which one it ends up in. But I want to say the Hurricanes could make it to third, because the Hurricanes have been slowly climbing all these years, trying to make their way up, trying to get former Chicago Blackhawks and get better. And I think they have a chance to make it in the division. I think they definitely have. I mean, they have the goaltending now. Cam Ward is now going to be their backup. There's no question about that. You are going to have Scott Darling, Stanley Cup goaltender, as your number 1. And you have really solid defense on that team. It's really young, but you haven't really seen any lapses in it. It's definitely solid, and it's going to take them far.
I'm glad you brought up the goaltending, because now that I think of it, goaltending in the Metro is stacked as well.
Why? Because Antoniemi? He's in Pittsburgh now.
Yeah, Antoniemi's a backup in Pittsburgh, but you have, so like the starter being Matt Murray. The Rangers have got King Henrik.
King Henrik's so over the hill,
but he's still a solid goaltender nonetheless.
He's sort of like Jonathan Quick nowadays. He's good, but then he's kind of average. But I get you.
But then you have Washington with Braden Holtby.
And Grubauer. I think wasn't he an All-Star this year?
I think, yeah, he was.
Okay, there we go.
And we have
Scott Darling, obviously.
Scott Darling.
Who is
You got Bobrovsky.
Oh, you're right, yeah. Bob had a really good outing. Who's in the Islanders, though? Who was it? It was Halak. He was there. I think he's still there. But, I mean, Halak is... I'm not gonna say Halak's a bad goaltender. I'm not gonna say he's a great goaltender.
I mean,
he's pretty decent.
I mean, the Islanders kept switching between. I think it was at a time it was between him and Grice.
Yeah,
It was interesting seeing.
Former Pittsburgh Penguin.
Also former San Jose Shark.
And he was also former Arizona Coyote. Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
We all know Tomas Grice.
Yeah, he just became a backup for literally everybody.
Oh, pretty much, yeah. Just give him the chance.
But yeah, so at the Metro, I mean, like, there's a lot going on there. It's just Activision, you can give or take whatever teams you want, but like as long as like you have Columbus up there at the top, like that's
indisputable.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the Western Conference.
The naturally more stacked conference.
Yeah, let's start with the Central.
Central used to be really powerful, but I feel like it's just dropped off.
It's about a mid-range division right now. It's good, but it's got its flaws.
Like Patrick Sharp on the Blackhawks.
How he just came back, like just how the Blackhawks are trying to bring back their 2015 Stanley Cup team.
All right, Stan Bowman, if you're watching this, I'm angry with your decisions. But Central, what are your picks for top 3?
I like the Blues.
Oh, I love the Blues.
Yeah, the Blues have done a lot of solid work these last couple of years. 2 years ago, I wouldn't say 2 seasons ago, last year, from the playoffs, they did make the Western Conference Finals against San Jose, and that was a solid team.
That was awesome.
That was
a great series.
That was a great series, and I think the only reason why they lost is because the defensemen in San Jose, like Mark-Edward Vlasic and Justin Braun, were able to shut down Vladimir Tarasenko.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think he had 1 goal in the entire series, and
it was in the final game. He was only in the final game was able to get that goal, and I think, which was phenomenal. But guys like from San Jose were able to shut him down because Tarasenko was one of the best guys out there you could have on a team.
He was leader for or one of the top 5 for Rocket Richard for pretty much the entire season till I think towards the back end. But yeah. And
then I have the Blues winning the Central for me.
That's bold. That's a bold prediction.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they're gonna win the Central. Let's see. I don't really know how to. I mean, probably the Predators are still gonna be up there a little bit because they're still.
The Predators didn't lose any. Oh, they lost James Neal.
They did lose James Neal, and I think another one of the players, he just retired, I think, last week.
Oh, Mike Fisher. I hated him. Let me be honest. I love Carrie Underwood, but I do not like him.
Mike Fisher's retired. So they got to stick with, the guys they have left. Victor Arvidsson, I think he's still there.
Yeah. They have Colton Sissons.
They still have Colton Sissons.
Philip Forsberg.
Oh, so it's still a solid team, and I think so I probably can see them finishing second.
You have Ryan Johansson, too. I mean, your top line is probably going to be Johansson, Sissons, and Forsberg. You could probably even throw in, what's his name? Completely forgot his name. He was another Swede on the team. Okay, well, it'll come back to me at some point. Maybe Kevin Fiala. He did pretty good last season.
Yeah. Third is where I am kind of, on the fence. Chicago, they tend to get they were a really good regular season team, and they've shown it the last several. And I don't mean several. I mean the last 6-7 years.
The last dynasty years.
Yeah, but I don't know because although the Wild go up and down and up and down, and I don't know. I can never pick them because of that.
Oh yeah, it's completely unpredictable.
I want to say that's the case because I want to see them. I want to see a little bit of variety in there.
You don't want to see the same team. It was always St. Louis, it was always Chicago, and it was always Nashville in the top 3. So it's now we're starting to get some variation.
And I think it will probably end up being close between Chicago and Minnesota for that 3rd spot in the end. And I'll probably give it to Chicago. It's the safe choice, but it's also the smartest one, really.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's where I have them.
I mean, even though Chicago had, the thing is Chicago's been weird. Either they have really good runs. I always feel their regular seasons are neither good nor bad. They're always because I always hear my dad, and I'm always there for when he's oh, this road trip's going awful, the circus trip. oh my gosh, I can't remember like the last time they came away with a winning record from the circus trip. It's been awful for them. But circus trip is gone. So maybe that's going to help boost them, help do better, because now they can be, at that stretch of time, they can actually be at home now, not have to be on the road for like 12 or so games or whatever. But I don't really know. I would think second would be a good spot for Chicago, because frankly, I don't know anybody else who can take second. I don't think St. Louis can take it. They lost Shattenkirk, and I think Shattenkirk was a big part of that team. They don't have Backus. I don't think they were the same without Backus. So
I think when they lost Robbie Fabry too, it was like he was, because he was.
I thought
lost
you just meant
injury,
they traded him, and I got freaked out
no,
there. But he lost to injury.
He lost to injury. I'm
He
not
was
sure.
on fire.
Yeah, he was on fire. He had a phenomenal season prior, and like I think comes back healthy.
That's that.
That will really help.
I don't think it'll put them in second though. I think Nashville will remain first. They lost James. That really hurts my feelings. But I mean, I won't cry over it like when I cried when he got traded from Pittsburgh. But Nashville will be number one. I think it's just the natural choice. I hope they are, because they got a lot of money in a lot of those guys. I think Sissons just got re-signed. He got a lot of money too. I think got like $3 million or something, which is a lot considering like, oh, he performed in the playoffs. Get money.
Yep.
Then Chicago, because you can't count Chicago. Oh, Chicago lost Nicholas Hjalmarsson. I don't know if I want to make him second anymore. I'll keep him second. I keep rethinking this. And third, why don't I go with Winnipeg?
Winnipeg, okay.
I don't feel, because somebody, I forget what goaltender. Can you look up the roster for Winnipeg? They got a new goaltender this offseason. It might have been like Steve Mason, which I mean Steve Mason.
Actually, I think you're right. I think they did. I think you're right. I think they did get Steve Mason.
Because their goaltending wasn't even an issue. I think it was a little iffy, because I saw some of their starting goaltenders actually in the AHL. But I think that was their only like kind of issue, was goaltending.
They did get Steve Mason.
Okay. How old is Steve Mason? Does it say?
Born in 88.
Okay, so he's like 30.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because
Still got a decent amount of time left.
Yeah, he's as old as Patrick Kane. Who knew? He was a great goaltender when he was in Columbus, and he won the Calder and everything. Last goaltender to win the Calder, actually. Fun fact. I think, definitely with him being that backstop, because I figured it was going to be him. I don't see why Winnipeg can't do good. They have Patrick Laine, the most cocky kid. I absolutely love his personality, and the way he plays his shot is unbelievable. I don't think there's a reason why they can't be third. Okay.
That's it. I mean, totally respect that choice. I mean, I would love to see that be the case too.
Honestly.
I think these like I said, these Canadian teams are only getting better right now, and I think it's pretty exciting to see them.
I forgot they were Canadian. There we go. Oh well.
Anyways, final division, and we saved probably my favorite division for last. It's the Pacific Division, and I think we were talking about this last week after our show. I think we have very, very similar choices, if not the same. So I've got Edmonton winning the Pacific Division.
Disgusting.
But it's
probably not wrong.
Yeah.
Gross.
I mean, yeah. We do have an Edmonton fan here in camp, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But anyways, so Edmonton wins the Pacific. And as much as I hate to say it,
do they win the President's Trophy too, though? I think they have a chance.
It will be tough, but I think it will be between them and Columbus.
Oh, that's right. I think it'll. Nah, I don't like Columbus.
But anyway, so Edmonton first. As much as I hate to say it, Anaheim second.
The cringe.
And then San Jose third.
See, now that I put myself out there and I said that, do they have a chance? Do Edmonton have a chance to win the President's Trophy? I gotta continue with that. I think they will win the division. Probably have well over 100 points. For some reason, it's like calling to me. I feel like they're not gonna have like a very high scoring year this year, like the whole league. I feel like 108. That's probably too low for President's Trophy, but something around there. Probably gonna win the President's Trophy as well. Just gonna put that out there, because guess what? That also means they can't win the cup because they won the President's Trophy, so they're gonna be jinxed. So that's good. San Jose is gonna be next for me. I mean, you lost Marlowe, but I think Martin Jones is just going to get more solid. I think everybody's just, they have a lot to look forward to. I mean, they have, granted, they lost Goldobin for the Barracuda, but I think they have a lot of young guys they could bring up.
And I think losing Marlowe might be a motivating factor. Like, hey, we did just lose one, like, the face of our franchise, but let's not put our heads down. Let's keep our heads up, because let's show them that we could still be the San Jose Sharks without Mr. San Jose Shark.
Right, and I don't want to be that person, but I just almost want to say, like, I feel like Marlowe might have held them back, because he took up a lot of cap space and took up a roster spot for potentially Nikolai Goldobin. Goldobin's now in Vancouver, doing pretty well. I mean, maybe somebody else. I don't know. I don't want to diss Marlowe at all, but I think now they're probably going to be second. Third, I don't think there's anything else really to pick but Anaheim. I mean, Vancouver's going to be good, probably a wild card, but I don't think it's going to be third.
Yeah, I think the rest of the division after those top three is pretty mediocre.
That's to put it lightly.
Yeah, to put it lightly. Vancouver, yeah, they probably have a promising season coming up. LA, they just cleaned house, so they're probably going to have to do a little bit of retooling.
They're all a bunch of tools.
Yeah.
I don't want to make that joke about LA. I love Jonathan Quick. I can't make that joke.
Yeah, and then you have, of course, Vegas, who are just starting. They're going to be okay, but like I said, middle of the pack.
Oh, yeah, on Vegas. I don't think we tackled this. Who's going to be captain?
I think we did.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we talked about it being Neil.
Okay, yeah, we just,
Yeah.
We didn't really officially say, hey, it's going to be James Neal.
Yeah, we said he probably is the best fit for it.
Honestly. Okay.
But, yeah, and other than that, you have Arizona in there, and, that's...
And if Arizona does not sign Yager,
then
they're not going to do...
They'll probably end up finishing last.
Oh, I mean... They didn't finish last when they needed to get McDavid. I don't think they're probably going to actually finish last now when they don't need to. I don't even know who's going to be drafted.
Although I do hear that the 2018 draft class is supposed to be one of the best so far.
Ooh, that's going to be like around my draft class, my age draft. That's when I'd be drafted, I'm pretty sure. Cool.
I mean, technically younger. I mean, Marlowe was drafted at 17.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Clayton Keller was too.
And I think they said Marlowe was the youngest possible player to ever play in the NHL.
Oh,
because they only turned 18 a week before the season started.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so this is going to be officially the first draft class younger than me. That's going to be weird. I'm ready to see these kids. I can officially call them kids.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just like, when I see him, it's like, I mean, Connor McDavid is my age.
I still call Connor McDavid a kid, and obviously he's older than me.
Austin Matthews is somewhere between...
Man-child? Brandon Saad?
I don't know. Anyways, so it's about 2:07, which means we should probably wrap up this show.
Oh, wow.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to Inside the Glass with Rob Leonio and Rachel Houston on Camp Student Radio. Be sure to tune in again next week, Thursday at 1 p.m. Over the next couple weeks, we actually probably are going to bring in some great guests. I've already been in contact with Timothy Gasson from the UA hockey team, as well as the Tucson Roadrunners. Chad Berman, head coach of the University of Arizona Wildcat hockey team, as well as Toppy Hogan, former Arizona Wildcat ice hockey center, now plays golf for the Wildcats as a graduate student. We can bring him in here, he probably will be more than willing to talk about hockey, his favorite sport. So,
if you're not a fan of U of A hockey, if you listen for the next few weeks, you're pretty much going to be. It's just going to happen.
I mean, you should go to the games. I mean, they're really, really cheap for students.
Oh, honestly. I think I went to games. I actually bought a ticket and covered it last year for SB Nation. I don't know why I bought a ticket for it. I think it was like $15, and I wasn't a student at the time. So
students get it for like $3.
There we go. Why not come to a game?
So if you're a student, if you're a student, go to a game for like $3. And if you are...
Have the time of your life.
And if you are of age, I'm going to say that, if you are of age, they do have beer for like $2.
Yeah, cheap beer. Beer as much as your ticket. You can't get that anywhere else.
Exactly. Very fun experience. Highly recommend. We're probably going to have a bunch of people tell you the same thing over the next couple of weeks as we bring in those guests.
Yep.
So, once again, thanks everybody for listening. We will see you guys all next week.
It's the thrill of one more